All right, hello everyone. This is the Tyto virtual game. Hopefully you haven't had too many problems with it. I made a little video here just to walk you through the entire thing. So I'm trying to make it not too long to show you this, but you should have made your avatar and you should be playing around, following the arrows, doing the quests that they gave to you. The quests that you did, the growth and genetics quest, there's also a worksheet that went with that. So this worksheet you should be working on right now. So you should have came in out of the cryo sleep, created your avatar, created your name. My name, if you noticed, looking at mine's was Star Lord. Yeah, my guy's Star Lord. So I'm doing a different quest right now. I'm talking to Botanist Zed. You might be doing the same quest in a few weeks, same games. But I wanted to show you a walkthrough if you're having any problems. So the first thing you should have done was talk to Sasha. So you're talking to Sasha about the Pangadongs and Dashwood. You should have noticed that all the Pangadongs in Dashwood's band have brown fur. One of the Noglets, though, so Dashwood, one of the Noglets has brown fur, but one has yellow fur. Noglet 1 has, Dashwood has brown fur, Noglet 1 has brown fur, and Noglet 2, though, has yellow fur. That's the first couple answers of your question there. The thing was, the other Noglet has yellow fur. Thing is that all of the Pangadongs in Dashwood's band have brown fur. So where did this yellow come from? So here's some of the things you should have learned. One has yellow fur. Mr. Tips has yellow fur. Who is this Mr. Tips? Maybe it's not in Dashwood's band, but maybe Mr. Tips had something to do with this. So then you talk to Sasha again. She thinks that Mr. Tips may be the father, and because he's yellow. Here's some of the arguments. Some of the arguments you should have had is one of the Noglets has yellow fur, and Mr. Tips has yellow fur. So use this to help you if you need to. Another argument I made, and somewhat different arguments do work, but if you're arguing that Mr. Tips could be the father, then you can see all the Pangadongs in Dashwood's band have brown fur. Dashwood has brown fur, therefore the yellow Noglet's father must not be in Dashwood's band. You should have looked at some of the notes from Sherry. Sherry's notes here. So click on these notes for the traits. These are her notes for dogs. So each trait has two versions. We find out that one of the versions is dominant. One of them is recessive. And the dominant are the ones that show up. They talk about phenotype, something that we talked about in class. What you see, like Hello's phenotype, is he's big, two-colored, long-tailed, and straight-eared. That's what you see. Doing some more observations, you should have seen. You should be able to figure out which trait is dominant by looking at what offspring they had. So, if Sunny and Aston have a puppy named Garamond, she's big, so big must be dominant. Two-colored, that must be dominant. Tailless must be dominant, and bent-eared must be dominant because the other alleles were hidden. They talked about how dominant traits get a capital letter, like we learned, and recessive get a lowercase, like we learned in class. Now, you have to figure out which trait determines color. It should have been trait 5. If you notice trait 5, Mr. Tips and Blondie are both are both GG. They're all capital here. Well, Mr. Tips and Blondie are the same, while Brownie and Dashwood are the same, TG and TG. Which one has Dashwood and Brownie the same, Mr. Tips and Blondie the same? Trait 5. So trait 5 is the answer to that one. Sorry. No, we had to do shake your tail feather. The next thing we have to talk about, we talked to animal rehabilitator Alicia about geppettos, these turkey like birds, I guess. So she said, here's the argument you want to make. Geppettos with brighter feathers have a better chance of mating and passing along. The chance of reproducing increases as feather brightness increases. Therefore, most Geppettos are brightly colored. So there's the argument you need for this one. And the second argument, the mated pair of Geppettos are bright pink. The dull Geppettos has no mate. Therefore, what are the baby Geppettos? Bright pink. The bright pink gets passed down to the offspring. The last thing you had to look at was plants. And we talked to, I forget who we talked to here about the plants. Talking to plants again. You have to click on the plants. Here's the parts of the plant. The center is darker in UV eyes. The tips glow to attract pollinators. Since bright colored Geppettos can pick each other, plants can't pick each other. So what do they have to rely on? Pollinators. So we talk about how bright colors are passed on by pollinators. And that's pretty much it. Darker flowers received more visits from pollinators. Therefore, darker flowers had a higher pollination rate. Some pollinators can see UV light, and some flowers have much larger dark areas under UV light. Therefore, UV patterns attract the pollinators. So that is that, and that is, here we see the increase. Darker flowers receive more visits from pollinators. Darker flowers, higher pollination rate. Oh, and here's a couple more arguments. Darker flowers receive more visits from pollinators. They had higher pollination rates. Some pollinators can see ultraviolet. This is the last part I just read. Some flowers have much larger dark areas. Therefore, those ultraviolet patterns are to attract the pollinators. That's it. Yes, indeed. That is the end. So hopefully you guys did a good job on that. And that is, if I could figure out how to end this, that is the end of my Screencastify. Thank you, and good luck.